They say silence speaks louder than any scream. And tonight, the hush surrounding Porsha Williams is practically deafening. For years, fans clutched onto the story they thought they knew. The radiant smiles, the strong survivor vibes, the supposedly triumphant healing journey. But what if that whole shiny recovery image was just a glossy mask hiding something far uglier, far darker? It started with whispers, tiny rumors that refused to die, flitting around her name for years without a face or voice. Until now. Because tonight, someone finally spilled. Patrice McKinney, allegedly Porsha Williams' ex-girlfriend, broke the silence. And what she claimed didn't just rattle the internet, it obliterated it. According to Patrice, the version of Porsha fans adored was only half the story. A secret double life, meticulously curated and hidden, lurking under the public persona for years. Suddenly, old clips morphed under new scrutiny. Laughs that once seemed carefree now felt pained, glances stiff and rehearsed, smiles that never reached the eyes. Fans dove back into every scene, hunting for clues they'd long ignored. And the more they dissected, the harder it was to unsee. But here's the kicker. What shook the world wasn't the alleged flings. Nope. It was the fear. The whispers of emotional wreckage, trust betrayed, even possible hidden health scares, all quietly buried beneath fame and convenient silence. No receipts, no paperwork, nothing tangible, just enough to make hearts plummet and minds spin with questions. And just like that, the internet exploded. Porsha Williams' recent interviews? Suddenly haunting. Her ramblings about loneliness, healing alone, feeling misunderstood. They are now read as either raw courage or evasive smoke screens. Fans cheer strength. Critics mutter avoidance. And smack in the middle stands a woman drowned in noise, yet choosing absolute silence. No denials, no clarifications. Just a wall of nothing. And oh, that nothing? It stings the most. Because when a lie is blatant, it crumbles fast. But when silence stretches on, unanswered, everyone starts wondering, is this pain real, or is the worst yet to surface? Forget gossip. This is a slow-motion public tragedy. Nobody warns you about the quiet collapse of fame. Not the trending hashtags, not the screaming headlines. It's the creeping hush, the unsettling gap where something's clearly gone sideways. For years, Porsha Williams was the survivor poster girl. Public heartbreak, humiliation, loss, yet always upright, always smiling for the cameras. She preached healing like it was a finish line she finally crossed. Millions lapped it up, clinging to hope disguised as belief. But let's be real, healing isn't always victory. Sometimes it's just a mask when the pain gets too heavy to show. Long before the headline storm hit, there were whispers, quiet, insidious, surviving in DMs, late-night chats, online threads. Fans noticed odd shifts, sudden mood swings, bizarre behavior, relationships ending abruptly. They shrugged, telling themselves it was fame, stress, or bad editing. Anything but the truth. Because questioning Porsha? That felt cruel, almost sacrilegious. And yet, slowly, the story started to twist. When Porsha started talking publicly about her sexuality and emotional rebirth, the internet basically hit pause. Some fans cheered, some scratched their heads, and a few just squirmed in their seats. To them, this didn't scream spontaneous self-discovery. It reeked of planning, like someone timed the reveal before anyone else could spill the tea. That unease morphed into full-blown suspicion when a new name slid into the drama: Patrice McKinney. Before this, Patrice was basically a ghost to the public. No reality TV cameos, no viral blogs, zero clout chasing. But suddenly, linked to Porsha Williams as an alleged girlfriend, the landscape flipped. And oh, Patrice didn't just whisper, she roared. What she claimed shook fans down to their core. According to her, Porsha's openness wasn't a fresh start. It was a gentle unveiling of a double life carefully hidden for years. A life where smiles were scripts and truth stayed locked away. Patrice painted this not as courage, but as damage control. Cue the internet meltdown. Fans dove back into every clip, every episode, replaying interviews like amateur detectives. What used to look cute or funny now felt painful. Silences? Loaded. Tears? Evidence. Emotional outbursts. Not entertainment. They were cracks in a meticulously built facade. Suddenly, everyone was asking the questions they had been too polite to ponder. Why did certain relationships vanish overnight? Why did Porsha seem emotionally checked out in happy moments? Why did her energy swing like a pendulum over the years? The more fans dug, the worse it got.
Patterns emerged. Patterns that couldn't be unseen.
And just when the internet thought it had absorbed enough shock, the story darkened. Patrice's alleged claims were only beginning.
It didn't stop at just emotional betrayal.
Patrice hinted at something far darker, the kind of claims that made even diehard fans blink twice. Alleged health concerns and risks that went way beyond broken trust. Rumors swirled online that people close to Porsha were worried, not just about who she was dating, but about the possible fallout from those relationships. No receipts, no medical files, nada.
But fear?
Fear doesn't need proof. It just needs a whisper. And just like that, cheers turned to panic. Comment sections flooded with worry, speculation, heartbreak. Fans who once defended Porsha with a fiery passion now sounded uneasy. Not because they wanted to believe the worst, but because the deafening silence was starting to crush everyone.
Meanwhile, Porsha? Almost nada.
No denials, no lawsuits, no official clapback. Just her usual chatter about healing, loneliness, and feeling misunderstood.
Some took it as raw, heartfelt honesty.
Others? Scripted, vague, a clever shield dodging the claims without ever confronting them. Critics accused her of hiding behind emotional talk. Fans accused the internet of cruelty. And in the middle of this chaos, a woman whose private life had become everyone else's entertainment. Then, as if things weren't messy enough, another painful layer bubbled to the surface. Old clips resurfaced, showing Porsha saying things that clashed hard with her current image. Religious sermons, speeches where LGBTQ identities were criticized. Words now haunting her public persona. Fans felt blindsided, wondering, was this real growth or just a convenient makeover? Because, as many argued, true growth demands accountability, an honest look at the past. Yet again, no explanation emerged. Silence filled the empty spaces. And silence paired with serious allegations? Dangerous. When claims are false, they usually vanish fast.
But unanswered? They fester.
Every day without clarity made the story heavier, darker, emotionally corrosive. Online, the divide turned toxic. Some accused Patrice McKinney of clout chasing or revenge. Others pointed to aligning details that seemed too precise to dismiss.
Motives were debated. More than facts. Intentions more than impact.
And through it all, the emotional toll was visible. Porsha's recent appearances?
Different.
Eyes tired. Voice strained. That effortless confidence replaced by sheer exhaustion.
Viewers noticed. Commented. Felt it.
What once felt like entertainment now felt invasive, watching someone unravel while the world fought over blame.
This wasn't gossip anymore. It was a slow-motion tragedy.
Even if only a fraction of the allegations held water, the damage was deep.
And if they were totally false, the silence alone had already left scars.
Either way, the emotional cost? Undeniable.
Trust shaken, images fractured, and
the truth, whatever that even is, remains tangled beneath layers of fear, silence, and endless speculation. Not answers, just questions that won't quit. And as history has taught us, stories like this don't vanish quietly, they detonate. And believe it or not, this was just the opening act. As the drama unraveled, the shadows around Porsha Williams only deepened. Patrice McKinney's allegations didn't just shock the public, they dropped a seismic, unshakable question mark over everything Porsha had presented for years. Headlines stopped celebrating red carpets and inspirational quotes. Suddenly, it was all secrets, betrayals, and personal collapses that left even the diehard fans gasping. Patrice claimed Porsha's relationships were far messier than anyone imagined. Allegedly involved with men, yes, but whispers from Patrice suggested affairs with women too. The internet couldn't even process it. Fans scrolled through old interviews, reality clips, and social media like detectives dissecting a puzzle that refused to fit. Every laugh, every smile, every public moment of self-discovery suddenly screamed suspicion. And then, the health claims. Initially subtle, almost easy to miss.
But they didn't stay quiet.
According to Patrice, Porsha's inner circle had been quietly concerned. Distress, unexplained absences, risks nobody outside that circle knew about.
No medical proof. No official records.
Just the whispers, and that was enough to send shockwaves. Fans who once idolized Porsha now felt a creeping unease. This wasn't just about alleged affairs anymore, it was about whether someone they admired might have been silently battling far more serious issues. And through it all, Porsha's own statements, talks of healing, solitude, and growth, Only fan the flames. Healing, solitude, and growth. But honestly, her words often sounded like echoes bouncing off empty walls. Fans clung to the brave survivor storyline, while skeptics tore apart every sentence, convinced a carefully scripted tale was masking the truth.
The fan divide? Electric.
Every comment thread became a digital battlefield. Emotions collided with logic, and at the center of the chaos stood Porsha, silent, leaving the world to fill in the blanks with speculation, outrage, or heartbreak. Then the old footage surfaced. Sermons, interviews, behind-the-scenes clips, Porsha saying things that directly contradicted her polished public persona. Each snippet ignited fury. Was this genuine growth, or a masterclass in manipulation? Fans debated endlessly. Contradictions stacked up like hurricane wreckage, making it nearly impossible to separate fact from facade without feeling the sting of betrayal. The psychological toll on the audience mirrored the rumored emotional chaos behind the scenes. Fans admitted they wept over old clips, realizing the woman they idolized was human, and messy, complicated, and maybe misunderstood. Social media turned into a mirror of collective heartbreak. Comments overflowed with sorrow, anger, disbelief. Strangers argued, shared memories, wrestled with their admiration versus doubt. And through all of it, the tension escalated. Every new revelation was a spark, threatening to set the entire wildfire ablaze. Patrice McKinney's claims acted like a magnifying glass, zeroing sunlight onto an already fragile ecosystem. Every word spotlighted cracks long ignored. The public suddenly grasped the possible magnitude of the deception, or at least what they thought was deception. Fans began questioning everything. How much of Porsha was real, and how much a performance meticulously curated for cameras? The line between private heartbreak and public spectacle blurred completely.
Then came the whispers of accountability.
People demanded answers, legal action, clarifications, anything. Silence in the face of serious allegations only made the story heavier, darker, impossible to ignore. Social media erupted with theories, speculation, heartbreak. Every day without clarity felt like a fresh betrayal. Patrice's narrative achieved what mere rumors never could. It made the world stop, pay attention, and actually care.
But closure?
Forget it. All it offered was tension, pain, heartbreak, leaving millions questioning loyalty, trust, and love. What began as a story of self-discovery had morphed into a high-stakes test of public perception, where admiration clashed violently with doubt. By now, the narrative no longer belonged solely to Porsha or Patrice. It belonged to everyone watching, emotionally invested, hanging on the next revelation. This was where tragedy met obsession, where loyalty met betrayal, where truth became subjective, and every viewer felt the crushing weight of a life exposed under the microscope.
The stakes had shed all pretense of fiction. They were raw, personal.
People wept in comment sections.
They fought in live streams.
And in the eye of this storm, Porsha Williams' private reality kept clashing with her public persona, leaving fans suspended in emotional limbo. Yet, after every headline, every clip, every jaw-dropping revelation, one thing became painfully obvious.
Stories like this don't just vanish quietly. They echo. They linger.
They swell until the pressure on your chest feels unbearable. Patrice's words had shattered years of silence, and the internet was glued, anxious, trembling. This wasn't merely about sexuality, relationships, or alleged betrayals. It was about trust, transparency, and the real human cost of fame and secrecy. As night fell across social media feeds, one haunting question lingered. When the next truth drops, who will survive the emotional fallout? The saga had reached a point where silence was no longer an option. Yet clarity?
Still nowhere in sight.
Patrice McKinney's revelations had sent shockwaves that refused to fade. The shockwaves rippled, but the world still craved answers. Every fan, follower, and casual scroller teetered on the edge of disbelief. Porsha Williams' story was no longer a simple tale of personal choices. It had morphed into a high-stakes drama, an emotional minefield impossible to traverse without feeling the weight of heartbreak. As days passed, old photos and video clips resurfaced. Every smile, every casual hug, every seemingly innocent social media comment was dissected, analyzed, and reinterpreted. Patrice's statements revealed patterns many had long ignored: secretive moments, sudden disappearances, fleeting gestures of affection, all hinting at a life carefully hidden beneath the public persona. The internet buzzed like a hive of obsession, fans scrambling to connect dots, each new revelation amplifying collective turmoil. Then came whispers of betrayal deeper than anyone anticipated. According to Patrice, Porsha's alleged double life extended beyond romantic affairs. Those closest to her reportedly noticed inconsistencies, emotional manipulation, and secrets far beyond what anyone could have imagined.
This wasn't just about affairs.
It was a carefully constructed narrative, maintained for years, now cracking under the glare of exposure. Viewers recoiled, hearts dropping with every new revelation. Old reality show clips, once mindless entertainment, were now scrutinized like crime scene evidence. And the health allegations? They resurfaced with a vengeance. According to Patrice, Porsha's inner circle had long worried about her well-being, but the public had been blissfully unaware. Anxiety, unexplained absences, emotional fragility, all became hot topics online. Romantic, emotional, and health controversies collided, forming a storm that felt unstoppable. Fans felt betrayed, yet glued to their screens, unable to look away from the unfolding tragedy. As scrutiny intensified, Porsha's own words morphed. Talks of self-discovery, healing, and growth were no longer inspirational quotes. They became riddles. Supporters clung to them as proof of courage, while critics dissected every syllable for inconsistencies and hidden motives. Every interview became a battlefield. Every social media post, a potential bombshell. Emotional stakes skyrocketed, with each detail sparking tears, outrage, or stunned silence. Then came the most shocking twist. Patrice hinted at past alliances and conflicts carefully hidden from public view. She claimed Porsha's relationships with friends, colleagues, and romantic partners were often transactional, strategically maintained, and far from what fans assumed.
Carefully curated, and at times damaging.
The message was unmistakable. Nothing was as it seemed. What fans had believed to be authenticity might have been nothing more than a meticulously staged performance. The realization left viewers shaken, questioning not just Porsha's public persona, but their own emotional investment in her story. Yet amid the chaos, the most heartbreaking element persisted: the emotional fallout. Fans confessed online that they cried for Porsha, for Patrice, and for themselves. This was no longer mere gossip. It had become an emotional spectacle, touching people on a deeply personal level. Strangers shared their own heartbreaks, connecting to the pain unfolding on screens. Every post, tweet, or leaked clip reignited waves of empathy, shock, and collective grief. The lack of an official response only intensified the drama. Silence amplified speculation, and every unanswered question became a fresh source of tension. The audience's thirst for resolution became almost physical, a burning need for justice, accountability, or at least clarity. Patrice's allegations had thrown the door wide open, and the world waited, anxiously, for the next revelation.
Fans knew this story was far from finished.
In this volatile mix of heartbreak, shocking revelations, and relentless public scrutiny, one truth was undeniable. The saga reflected fame, secrecy, and human fragility. Porsha's once celebrated life had transformed into a cautionary tale about trust, transparency, and the hidden costs of being a public figure.
And the fallout from buried secrets.
Fans were no longer just spectators. They were active participants in a live, unfolding drama that demanded every ounce of their emotional energy. And as night blanketed social media feeds, one thing was crystal clear: when secrets, heartbreak, and public exposure collide, it isn't just a story.
It's an emotional earthquake.
Patrice McKinney's words had ripped illusions to shreds, leaving nothing untouched. Viewers wept, hearts fractured.
The world watched, helpless, mesmerized.
This wasn't a simple scandal. It was a human tragedy, a story of love, betrayal, and the crushing weight of revelation. And in the hush following each shocking update, one haunting question lingered. When the next secret drops, who will survive the fallout?
Who will hold steady? Who will crumble under heartbreak? Pause before scrolling. Because what you've witnessed so far is barely the tip of the iceberg.
This raw, unfiltered saga is shaking the foundations of everything you thought you knew about Porsha Williams, Patrice McKinney, and the brutal realities of fame, secrecy, and heartbreak. Every revelation has fractured trust, broken hearts, and left questions screaming for answers. And the truth?
It's still unfolding.
Don't skip, don't scroll. Every second from here could flip everything you think you know. You need to be in this journey to feel every tear, every shock, every betrayal the moment it hits, right now, for real, no filters attached. Your pulse will race, Your eyes may blur with tears, and your perspective on fame, love, and loyalty will never look the same again. Tap that like button, not out of habit, but because this story earns it.
Subscribe right now.
Turn on notifications and brace yourself to witness every heartbreaking, jaw-dropping, tear-inducing
moment before anyone else.
Share this video with someone who knows heartbreak is universal. That secrets can destroy more than trust alone. And that truth, no matter how painful, can't be ignored. Remember, this isn't just entertainment. This is a raw emotional eruption of reality, deception, and human fragility. Missing this means missing the emotional ride everyone
we'll be talking about for weeks ahead.
Stay, watch, feel, steady yourself. Because the next revelation will land
harder than anything you've ever seen.